Welcome to the Morning Mist 99 Above and Beyond Schizophrenia. It's where we're coming from, it's where we are, it's where we are going. Above and beyond. I like that. I like it. There's a lot in that, you know. There's a lot in that. Right now, I'm looking outside and you see these gray clouds out there, and then just a little part of it, you can see this bright blue and light just pouring through it. So even with this dark clouds, there's still blue sky and sunlight raining down above. So if we can just get above and beyond these dark clouds, we'll be basking in the light. We'll be away from all this the heaviness and the darkness and the storms and all that's raining, pouring, going on beneath these clouds. So, and that's where we want to live. That's where we want to be. We want to be in the sun. Want to be in the light, and we just got to raise up to that level. But in this video, I want to talk about. I made a short little video. I think I've made a video in a few weeks, but just to kind of keep things going. Um, it's more like a little encouragement, I guess. There's a thing I heard not a little while ago, not too long ago, about there's somebody who was a part of a group, and this group was a self-management group that teaches people how to manage the chronic illnesses that they're struggling with, and so it's like a group people get together and they kind of go through some skills and some mindset trainings and some things to do physically to kind of help them manage. And what a person messaged in and said they were going to remove themselves from this group because they were not in a difficult place with what they're struggling with. There've been, I think, two classes, and but they said that because they weren't struggling, they're in more of a comfortable place, then they're gonna remove themselves from the group. And I thought, wow, that's just such a big mistake, you know. And I thought, the person isn't thinking accurately, right? Not thinking right about what they're doing, because the last thing you want to do is to be in distress and then looking for something to help you, right? It's hard to learn when you're under pressure. It's hard to learn when you're in the fire. So I was like, this is actually a good time to learn self management techniques. It's actually a good time to learn those skills, uh, to be a part of a group, to exchange ideas, to kind of learn from each other and prepare yourself for in the event that things should return, the flood of the illness would come rushing in. It'd be good to kind of take the time to build up a dam, you know, something that could mount a defense against it, right? And I thought it'd be a good thing to share with people on here, because if you have times where you're not in distress, if this is that time, if and also if you are a person that maybe are on medication and you plan to stop somewhere down the road, or you want to stop down the road, then take the time now to build yourself up, right? To consider how things came to you in the past, the symptoms, how you were attacked, and formulate a plan, right? Do some meditation on ways to respond, certain affirmations, things you're gonna need to kind of keep yourself steady because a lot of it is self-talk, right? A lot of this self-talk, especially with the delusions and the paranoia and the hallucinations and so forth, right? Is a lot of this is self-talk, and you have to guide yourself because if you don't, then those things will guide the mind, right? But the problem is if you're in that state, you got no time to be trying to learn something. It's got to be already inside here so that as soon as you require it, it's right there. It can't be here, right? If you just hear it one time, two times, you just take it in and you go your way, it's just right here. And when it the flood comes, you will not be able to pull it out, right? It won't even be in your field of vision, right? Because your mind is already going to be overwhelmed. That's why it must be deeper than the mind. It must be within the heart, right? It must be something that's settled in there so that when it comes, even if you're pressured, it's gonna come to the surface because you're gonna already be thinking about it. You're meditating on it. You're trying to you have the understanding of what things mean because a lot of times we hear certain things but we don't hear. Right? There's different levels of hearing. There's the hearing, and another level is the understanding. Right? When you hear something truly, it creates something in you. Right? It speaks on a different level, right? That's why you gotta think about things. When you think about something, it opens up like a concept, right? It opens up and you gain the full understanding or a broader understanding at least, right? Because that's just what that person was not thinking about. They didn't thinking about this what's gonna come down the road, considering they've been in places, it's a chronic illness, they've been there and they've struggled, but because they're in the place of ease and they think that I'm okay. Well, okay, you're okay now. But what about tomorrow? What about next week? What about 5 months from now? And so it's just when you have a time and the storm is calm, like the saying goes, in the time of peace, prepare for war. Right? That's very important. Is to prepare your mind, take in the good stuff, meditate on it, chew on it, think about how things were, how you fell into the traps from the delusions, and how the hallucinations got you, how the paranoia pulled you in, how they kind of tied you up, and now you got through it. Well, it's gonna come in similar ways, right? If you fell for it once, you're gonna fall for it again, right? So you gotta make sure you don't fall for it again. So it's just I just thought to kind of put this out there and encourage you all to kind of have that mindset to not just uh, be passive in your own recovery and or wait for things to happen before you start to put into practice the things that maybe you're thinking of putting into practice, because if you're in the fire, it's too late to be learning. It's just burning time, you know, and nobody wants to get there. Nobody wants to be burning. So you want to make sure you have yourself fortified, your mind ready, and and you can go through that way. And it's a good ways to attack the problem for those with loved ones who are going through with it. It's the same thing, right? You've been through the hospitalizations, you've been through the whole roller coaster ride. You still got to build yourself up, because these things take a toll on you as well, and you need to be refueled. You need to be have that hope and that belief in that strength to walk the path. It's so easy to give into despair and hopelessness for uh, either those struggling and those in the care provider roles, especially if this person was struggling for years, like I was struggling, and my mom was in that position, and it's a place that she had to reach and to settle, have settled within her in order for her to be able to manage, because it takes a toll physically, mentally, emotionally. So we have to really be ready for these struggles, and to wake up every morning with a mindset going that's for taking on the challenges, right? Because if we do not have a standard that's raised up, then the flood is going to come, and it's going to overwhelm us. It's going to drown us. So we can't afford to just let things happen, in the sense that our emotional state, or mindset, and so forth, we if we like I said, if we don't direct it, if we don't determine it, it's going to walk a path, and it's not going to be the way that's beneficial to us, right? It's gonna be guided in a certain direction, and so we have to take charge. If we don't, it's gonna take charge of us, and nobody wins then. Nobody gets better. All right, so that's one of the problems with schizophrenia and mental illness in general, is that we allow the mind to be held captive by this illness, and taken into all different places. And because we don't have, first is we don't see that it's the illness and the delusions and the symptoms that are running the show. We kind of believe them, but then once we get insight, it's difficult to still to take control then, because we've already surrendered control, and now we don't even know anymore how to take control, right? And so that's, but yet we need to, and we can, right? So but that's the struggle, and that's why I say, in these times, take the time to learn to control your mind. Take the time to lay that foundation, lay those affirmations, those principles, those guiding principles that are going to lead you. And when the flood comes, you have that standard, you have that dam, you have that wall built up. When the fire comes over, you have that fortification, man. You're not gonna burn, and so that's a good time for that. So anyway, hoping you guys all are good. Hoping you guys are making progress, keeping hopeful, believing, and just rising up each morning with a mindset that's determined to win the day, to take on the day, to not let schizophrenia win, and to fight for that which you desire, to fight for your life, to fight for yourself, to fight for your family, to fight for your friends, to take on that Goliath, because Goliath, he comes to just to take everything, man, and we gotta awaken that David within us, because he's there, and and have that right attitude, because we can definitely do it, and it may not be easily recognized, but it's there. I promise you, it's there, and if we can just hold to that, and keep pressing forward, something's got to give. And if you refuse to give, schizophrenia has to give. That's just how it works. So Don't neglect to stand during the test, because it won't break unless you stand during the trials and the test that comes to prove you, right? Because the moment you start to say you're gonna do something, you're gonna win this battle. The moment your mind it goes towards that, it's like, all right, we're gonna see, we're gonna see exactly what you're made of, and then the next minute you're gonna get pressured, and then what's inside here is gonna come to, it's gonna be revealed. You're gonna be exposed. That's why I said you gotta have all those things settled right here. So when the pressure comes, what comes out is the very thing that you need in order for this thing to not be able to break you, and so that it would have to break instead, right? But that's what sometimes people don't realize, man. You ever and don't ever say you want good in life unless you are prepared to fight. And let Because the moment you set your sights on good, life is going to respond and it's going to want to give it to you, but it's never through an easy door. It's through a difficult door, right? It's You've got to be proven, because are you just saying this, you know, or do you really want it? And if you really want it, the door is going to come and you got to walk through it, but it's not going to be something that's easy. It's given, but you have to take. And a lot of the times, what comes to us are trials in order for us to take to get what we want. But because we get afraid, we get pulled into the energy of that, and we get pushed back, and so we don't get what we want because we can't step through that door, right? So we gotta understand, like, it's an amazing thing, and but you gotta stand through the pressures, because it's through those that you get what you desire. So take the time, build yourself up, build your confidence up, build your energy up, and stand. So talk to you next time.